experience a kingdom lifestyle that is both focused and balanced. Welcome to Live Exceptionally. In a world where we are constantly bombarded with demands on our time and attention, it can be difficult to find the space to truly live our best lives. But what if we could find a way to live exceptionally with a sense of purpose, freedom, and rest? Whether you're a busy professional, a stay-at-home parent, or anyone who wants to live a more focused and balanced life, this show is for you. Join us as we discover how to live exceptionally, finding freedom and rest along the way. Now, let's get into this week's episode of Live Exceptionally with Dr. Yvonne Thompson.
Welcome back to Live Exceptionally. I'm Dr. Yvonne, your host, founder of Elisi, and author of Can You Sleep Like This in the Rest of God. As we get older, things begin to happen with our hair. We might experience hair loss. We might experience hair thinning. Sometimes it doesn't have to do with age. Most often we turn to over-the-counter products, not realizing there are hair specialists that can assist us with these issues. I'm excited for our guest today, Topeka Tolbert, who is the owner of Pika Hair Care Center in Midlothian, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago. And she's also a woman business owner. And she is transitioning our transition guest between our Stewardship of the Body series and our Women in Business series. And she's going to talk about key techniques as it relates to stewarding our body related to our hair, and also talk about some of her experiences being a woman business leader. Good to have you here, Topeka. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
So can you share a bit about your business's purpose, mission, and focus as one of our guests on our Women in Business series?
Okay, so my purpose and passion is to bring the most innovative tools to the community that's underserved, and targeting that community with a holistic approach, teaching people the importance of proper nutrition, diet, and exercise. And that falls under the umbrella of holistic therapy, but trichology is actually the passion, and that's the science of hair. And so with the trichology being another element, that's in line with my mission, and just to help people have the whole person and not just the hair, just it's for the whole body, if that makes sense to you.
Yes, and when you talk about trichology, talk a bit more about what does that involve? What does that include?
So trichology is actually the science of hair. It was founded like 53 years ago in England. A gentleman stumbled upon it just in his studies. And so with that, what they discovered that hair is actually connected to the entire body system. And with that being connected to the entire body system, paramedical became a term in terms of the human body can live without hair. And God is so amazing because he grafted it that way, because people that inquire like dis-ease, like in trichology, they want us to say dis-ease because the diseases start as a dis-ease. And the longer you allow yourself to hurt, then it turns into a disease. And that's when you need the extra help. But in trichology, the body systems are connected, where if you are having stresses in the body, the hair can be impacted and the hair just falls out. The body is still protected because the hair took the impact, and you can still live a healthy life. But in trichology, they have the tools, machines, and different products that allows the trichologist or the practitioner or the associate trichologist to aid the client in restoring their hair back.
Wow, that's amazing. Because most
Yeah.
often when I think about hair loss, you don't think about it from the perspective that is actually could potentially be benefiting the inside of you. You
Yes.
just panic. My hair is falling out. And, what's going on? How do I get my hair to grow? How do I get my hair to be restored? But the fact that it could be an indicator of something that's going on internally, that's definitely a unique perspective.
Yes, because the thymus gland is responsible for the hair and the hair growth. And when it's like almost like a channeling where the body has to have signals to go through the heart, go through the thymus gland. But if the heart is having trouble with, just say, life as a whole, and the life cares, and the person is taking the things to the heart, it's impossible for the thymus gland to get the signal in order to produce hair, because the heart is holding too many cares and concerns. Unpacking the heart, allowing the stimulation to flow upward, and then things to help them to remove the stresses involve exercise, involve proper eating, and involve just mindfulness, sometimes supplementation, because vitamin D and C are big components in restoring hair growth, and so I could go on and on. So I'm like,
No, this is good because, my February series focused on wellness from the body, stewardship of the body
right.
was the February series. And then my March series focuses on women in business. So I believe this is like the hinge, the hinge as transitioning from February into March. You're a woman's business owner, but your business as relates to hair is tied to stewardship of the body, which looking at the hair as an output of how we steward our body.
Yes, absolutely. And so I would like to speak a little bit about the hormones, because you had brought
Yes.
that up. And so with the hormones, we have four different ones that runs through the body, but the ones that testosterone, the male hormone, is responsible for hair loss. And so that's the culprit, if you will. When the body produces too much hormones, and especially testosterone, you notice people start to thin around their hairline. For
Right.
men, they thin in the top of their head. For women, they create these different patterns where they call it male and female pattern baldness. Now, with male and female pattern baldness, that can be reversed just by using an inhibitor. And it's just being open to putting an inhibitor in place, because you cannot change the physiology, but you can put something in place to block the hormones so that your hair follicles are protected. Otherwise, you'll just have all these different patterns that's forming around the hairline, preventing the hair from growing. And so that's the pattern loss. When it comes to alopecia areata, that's a well-known hair loss, name of a hair loss. And it usually starts in the back of the head, right around the ear, but it's like in a circular pattern. And that actually turned into totalis untreated. And so if people see a circle in their head, in the back of the head, it's important that you get to a specialist, because that's the indication that something is going wrong within the body system. It really has nothing to do with the actual hair growing on the scalp. It's an
Interesting.
indication that the body system is having trouble producing the hair. So circulation is being cut off. In most cases, it's circulation because of, again, it starts in the heart, and the signals have to get past the thymus gland in order to grow hair. And when we have to go to we have so many things as women. We have to make sure our kids are set. Then if you're married, you have to make sure that your husband is fed. And then you got yourself. And then most times we put ourselves on the back burner because we want to get our kids and have them well-rounded and have them at all these things. And then you got to take care of the home. And then you work. And so there's gonna be an imbalance there because it's really important that the body rests 6 hours at the least. That's the science. At the least 6 hours of doing nothing. Just relaxing will allow the body system to restore itself because it takes 4 hours, and that's the science. I'm speaking science. It takes 4 hours for your body to go through the first sleep cycle that actually restore all the organs, all the systems, every cell, every joint, every ligament, every pore. All of these things can be restored in 4 hours. But it requires you to be asleep,
Right.
right? It's not going to work if you're awake most of the night. And so that's really one of the factors with just proper rest and allow the body, because it's highly intelligent, to do what God built it to do just within 4 hours. He was so gracious. Like, I just need you to sit still for 4 hours. That's it. If you could just lay down for 4 hours and let the body heal itself, and then that's one thing. But it's the world is so busy. It's so busy. It's so busy. And then people pick up wigs. And when they pick up wigs, they put the wigs on, they pick up extensions. And what happens is a fungus develop underneath the scalp. And that is called CCCA. It is running rampant in the African American community. The crown of the head. I've had so many cases, and I've restored many cases as well for those that are serious about, getting their hair back, where I use a machine that shows me the fungus underneath the scalp. And that comes from the hair follicles not getting any oxygen.
Okay.
Improper use of products where people say, "Oh, I could color my own hair. I can relax my own hair." But it's required that you bring the pH levels back to their normal state for hair growth. And so when people do their chemical services at home, they leave their hair, we'll just say on the pH scale, they leave it at 7. It's impossible to grow hair at the neutral state.
What's the pH level that it should be?
It should be 4.5 to 5.5 for hair
Okay.
growth.
Mhm.
Hair has to grow in a highly acidic environment because of the climate that we live in. And
Mhm.
when you get hair color, let's say for instance, you go get a hair color yourself. In the stores, it may take your pH up to 8. And then you don't use any stabilizers to bring your pH back to 4.5 or 5.5. You just use water. Water is neutral. Water is 7. So water will bring you back to 7, but you can't grow hair at 7.
Mhm.
You're just neutral. You
Right.
know. And so we have a lot of pH imbalance hair where I understand people want to, do it themselves, but doing certain chemicals yourself is really not the best way to go for hair growth, because you want the stabilizers to help. You want the professional to use those stabilizers to get you back to 4.5 and 5.5, which is conducive to hair growth based
So
on the science.
right. So when you talked about if you see like a little circle in the back of your hair that is indicative of potential hair loss, but that is an indicator that there's something going on internally, something health wise. So what would be an indicator when you're having hair loss that it's not so much something internally, but something that is like you need to focus on getting your hair together before you have more hair loss?
If the universal language for the scalp is itch. If it start to itch, that's an indication. If it start to burn, that's an indication. If you see people do this,
Mhm.
that's the scalp talking. They constantly doing this. Like, whatever you're using on me, I don't like it. If the hair is dry and brittle, that's an indication for, okay, I need moisture. I need water.
Right.
I need hydration. I need I need food. I need some
Mhm.
amino acids. I need some protein. Just like we feed our bodies proteins and we get a little bit of carbs and we get a little bit of, water because we have to stay hydrated. The hair is an organ. It's a living mechanism, organism, if you will. It's a living hair. At the base of the follicle, it has a little white bulb there, and it requires water. It requires conditioner, which feeds the hair. You know,
Right.
it requires food, which nourishes the hair as well as the body. But the body actually take like 93% of the food. And so at some point in your life, you do have to supplement because the body absorbs it first. The hair gets fed last, and that would be using topicals and taking supplementation.
Right. So I wanted to ask you, when you were talking about the indicators of things that happen internally that impact our hair growth, when our hair is falling out, it could actually be reflective of a lack of balance in our own life, the stress and anxiety that comes from being mother, being a business owner, a wife, all these things. Talk to me about you as a business owner. What do you think are some of the challenges that most women business leaders face?
Wow. As for me, it was trying to get to the next before you complete the first.
Mhm.
That was the main challenge for me, where when a focus comes, focus on that one thing at a time so that you don't feel scattered. You just feel scattered, you feel frustrated, you feel flustered because you know that you have to take care of this by this deadline. And for me, waiting to the deadline to take care of it adds a level of stress to my body. And
Mhm.
then I'm frustrated, I'm short, I'm agitated because I just didn't do the project. When I started to do a timetable, the first week of the month, I'm gonna do this project. The second week of the month, I'm gonna do this project and devote that time to doing those different projects. And then managing people. Managing people require me to manage myself. And so where if I am not resting and somebody asks me a question, it could come across really short and dry because I'm tired.
Right.
I didn't get enough sleep. I didn't even show up for myself. So how can I show up for my employees or my patrons if I don't rest because I'm short? If they ask me, well, no, I really don't like it when you do this, and you mad at them because they don't like how you do their hair. That's like what's like what is wrong with that? Like you're servicing them. So they have all rights to tell you that they don't like it, right? And so me learning as a young woman, I've been doing this since I was 18. I'm almost 46 years old. And so I would take things to prayer because I'm like, okay, God, what am I missing? What am I not getting? And so God spoke to me a few years back that beauty is from the inside out. Beauty is from the inside out. Love your neighbor as yourself,
Yes.
right? And if I wasn't showing up in love for myself, it was impossible for me to show up in love for my neighbor. And so I started making sure that I took care to Pika. I incorporated morning prayer, even with young children. I would set
Mhm.
my alarm clock. I would get up, go pray before I even have to do any chores for my household. You
Right.
know, I spent at least an hour and a half. And now that's part of my personality. I'm going to be extra. I do above and beyond. So that's my personality type. So I'll spend at least an hour, hour and a half just in prayer, in reading, and reading the scriptures, and the book of Psalms and the book of Proverbs really helped shape my life. And so I would take those
Right.
principles and I would add those principles to my life. And then before I knew it, Dr. Yvonne, I had so many clients. I'm like, wow! Like my clientele just expanded so rapidly. And this started like in 2007, where I
Yeah,
started
those
taking care
yeah,
of these.
no, those
Mhm.
yeah, no, those are great techniques and great disciplines to practice for fostering balance, fostering rest as a woman leader. I think it's so important because sometimes we can be so consumed with what we have to do, consumed with our to-do list, everything that we have going on in our life, that really the barometer or us the source of strength, the source of peace, the source of wisdom and direction, we're not spending time with that source. We're not spending time with the Lord. So I love that you said that even when you were younger, that's a discipline, a technique that you employed as relates to making sure that you're spending time with the Lord first, with God in the Word, before your children even woke up to start your day. And I think that that's a great example of how we, not just from a successful standpoint, but when you say you had to be okay with you first, that you had to be treating yourself first well before you could actually treat others well. What would you say God is saying for you in this season related to being a leader?
In this season, God is taking me outside of the building. He has given me a lot of gifts. The years that I've spent in the secret place, I like to call it that because that's what it is for me. God has empowered me now to go back to my humble beginnings, and serving the Inglewood community. That's where I'm from. I'm born and raised in the Inglewood community, and God has taken me back to that community in service. And I will say, okay, what do I give? Like, how can I give? And then Spirit will say, you can give of your talents. You can give of your talents. And so I took it as if, okay, I can give of my talents. I can use the fruit of my hands. That's part of my mission statement, to be a blessing to others, the fruit of my hands. And so I partnered with the Olive Branch Mission earlier this year, which we only in the second month, but January, I reached out to them late last year so that I can launch it in January. And I service the women and men if they want to come to get beauty services. And so I have like women that need just a relaxer touch up. I give them conditioner, I do the in trim, and I do a shampoo style. And my assistant and I, we serve them. And so that's what I'm doing at least once a month. And I want to create an initiative where I have other professionals that's
Yes.
willing to give their services and use the fruit of their hands to serve the community. And so I'm really, really passionate about it. So my passion is coming outside of the building and really
Yeah.
serving the community. So that's where I am. And it's
No,
it's
that's
so
awesome.
needed. It's so
Yes.
needed. It's so needed.
Agreed.
It touched my heart in a way that I'm wealthy. Like after servicing the women that I serviced last month, I was rich, just making them feel better. It just made me feel better.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think it's important that all of us, whether we have a business or don't have a business, that the aspect of the scripture when it says that we are taking care of the widows and the orphans, just basically focusing our efforts in some way on people who are less fortunate than us. It's certainly a model for what I do, that in everything that I do, that I'm always giving back. And whether it's through financially or time, I think it's so important because we can get so busy that we forget about those who are less fortunate. So as we close, how can people get in contact with you regarding your services, what you offer as a trichologist? Just quickly talk about the services that you offer in that regard and how people can contact you.
Okay, so the services that I'm currently offering are hair treatment services. I have like an ozone machine, which removes bacteria off the scalp. I have a laser machine, which stimulates the follicles to get the hair growing back. And then I have like detoxes for people that needs to just get their pH balance back up normal to the state of growth. And we offer a variety of different treatments: protein, amino acids, a combination of different oils that we mix based off what the client may need: dry, itchy scalp, psoriasis, dermatitis. All of these different scalp problems most times come from within as well. And so I give like people diet plans, exercise plans. It's like the whole person. And so if you're interested in any of them, if you have any form of hair loss, you can find me at pikahaircare.com. I'm on Facebook as Topeka Tolbert and Pika Hair Care. I'm on Instagram as Pika Hair Care and hair.forte salon. Forte means specialty. So hair is my specialty. I'm on Twitter. I'm on TikTok as Pika Hair Care. I'm all over the internet. My business,
Awesome.
my physical business is located at 14735 Pulaski Road in Midlothian, Illinois. And so my phone number
Awesome.
there, it's 708-925-9804. You can always call. I still like those phone calls coming through.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Topeka. This has been very informative and also interesting. I love that aspect that you shared, that a lot of times the hair loss that we may initially have is reflective of something that might be going on internally. So when we're stewarding our body well, that we will see the benefits even as it relates to how our hair is looking and growing.
That's right. And my motto is beauty is from the inside out.
That's all the time that we have for this week's episode. Tune in next week for another episode of Live Exceptionally. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with others on YouTube or your preferred podcast platform. Stay connected with us at elisi.org. Have an exceptional week.
Thanks for joining us for Live Exceptionally with Dr. Yvonne Thompson. Each week, we'll explore the secrets to living a life that is both intentional and fulfilling. We'll talk to folks that will share about productivity, mindfulness, and self-care to learn practical tips and strategies for staying focused, managing our time, and finding balance within a kingdom mindset. We'll also hear from people who have made the choice to live exceptionally and learn from their experiences and insights. Connect with Dr. Yvonne by signing up at elisi.org. That's ELICI.org. Until next time, we're praying that you find balance and rest so you can live exceptionally.